Welcome to another episode of Chasing the Wind. I'm Pastor Mark. Got a new background because it's no longer winter. Well, it is kind of. But anyway, by faith, we are moving forward into spring and summer. So anyway, glad you have joined me today. I want to talk to you today about, I guess you could say comebacks. So I've got some plants at home. I got a thing called a ginger palm. It's a beautiful thing. They got them all over Florida. And I had this big ginger palm in a pot, and it's just huge. And I thought, I'm going to divide it. I looked online, found out you divide it, and it can be pretty. I had to get a hatchet to divide this thing. Just killing through it because I couldn't cut through it. And of course, the original plant took a little bit of a shock. And but then I put the other one in this other pot, and of course, the leaves that were on this one, they died down, and I thought, so I cut it off, and I thought, this thing's gone. I'll leave it. And lo and behold, there was a little leaf coming up, it wasn't one of the main things, but it was a new start. And on another note, though, I pulled up some geraniums, being I have a little bit of frugality in me. I'm not cheap, but I do have some frugality in me. I might be cheap. But I like wintering over some of our plants if we can. And so we have wintered over some geraniums. They were doing really good. Then at some point, they started kind of like dropping their leaves and whatnot. And so I cut them back and I bring them upstairs and put them in windows and stuff like that and try and get them started. And I had one that I didn't think was, I have two that are not making it, but I had one that I was like ready to say, I don't think this one's going to make it. And it has this little bitty leaf thing sticking on it. It's not really taking off yet, but it's there. And I'm like, all right, there's a little bit of hope there because it looks like it's making a comeback. And, we see that with Jesus on the cross. He made a comeback, didn't he? But I also was thinking about this from Luke's Gospel, chapter 13. Then he told verse 6, then he told his disciples, told this parable. A man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he went to look for fruit on it, and it did not find any. So he said to the man who took care of the vineyard, for 3 years now I've been coming to look for fruit on this tree, and haven't found any. Cut it down. Why should it use up the soil? Sir, the man replied, leave it alone for 1 more year, and I'll dig around it and fertilize it. If it bears fruit next year, fine. If not, then cut it down. Sometimes we think that something's kind of not going to make it, don't we? We think, man, as a pastor, sometimes there's usually Sunday after church until usually like Monday night, I got to be really, really careful. Because I can go down a really bad place where I'm like, Lord, this is ridiculous. Just, no one seems to be taking you seriously. No one seems to be taking the church seriously. Why am I doing this, et cetera, et cetera? And if you think, well, boy, Pastor, that's not much faith. I'm going to tell you something. You go ahead and try it and let me know how you feel on a Monday, okay? It's tough. More resignations are written on Monday morning by pastors than any other time, okay? They don't always turn them in, but they want to turn them in. You get frustrated at your job, your pastor gets frustrated at his job sometimes too. So just telling you like it is. But I'm going to tell you something. There are times that we think, God, there's just nothing here. And we're in a season, it's March when I'm recording this, that there's a lot of things out there that we look and say, man, it's, there's no life. And I'm watching people out there pulling up all their leaves and stuff, which you're supposed to wait, till the middle of May because some of the insects, bees and stuff are hiding underneath there. Oh no, they're just pulling it up, Sometimes we got to just nurture things. We just got to hope. That's with people. I don't know how many times God has been so patient with me, worked the soil a little bit, said, you know what, God, I'm working on this guy. I'm working on him. And in some point he's going to bloom. I have the pleasure of being on our board of ministries for our denomination on our district. And one of the things I just truly love is watching the journey of district licensed ministers as they journey through their process toward ordination. And watching some of them, struggle with maybe some answers to some questions, and then when they hit that fourth, fifth, sixth year, or whatever it is they're in, watching them come, be able to just articulate theology and their walk with God in such a beautiful way. And to know that we've maybe nurtured them a little bit, somebody has nurtured them, we've tried to encourage them and nurture them, and then to watch them truly just blossom. And you see that little bit of life coming to them. I also have a bird of paradise that I like dividing, and usually when I divide it and I give it to someone, it will get a blossom on it. And if you're not familiar with bird of paradise, they got beautiful blooms on them. And I had forgotten I gave one to a guy last summer for him and his wife. And I saw him the other day and he goes, "Oh yeah, I meant to send you a picture." He goes, "That bird of paradise bloomed. It's blooming." And so, folks, don't give up too easily. If you need to ask for help, I had to reach out and ask for some help this week to encourage me, because I was ready to throw the plant out. It was kind of a joke at our house. If you don't bloom and do what you're supposed to do at our house, you get ousted. My wife, just looks at me kind of funny. I said, "Don't worry, you're safe, babe. You're safe." And but she doesn't say it back to me. I'm wondering what that means. But anyway, there's sometimes you just got to say, this thing's not growing. It's not going to grow. Throw it out and start new. I remember asking one time years ago when I was a little town in Illinois pastoring, and I had just one little florist. And I remember asking the florist after Christmas, said, what do you do to a poinsettia that you have it next year? And she'll throw it out and go buy a new one next year. She said, because they're just too hard to grow around here, keep alive. So we got to use a little discernment, don't we, folks? We got to say, wait a minute here, Lord, I'm going to give this a little more time. I'm going to nurture it. I'm going to see what it'll do. And maybe it needs a little pruning. Maybe there's some other things you need to do to it, but we'll see what happens. And Lord, the Lord does not give up on us. And we give up on ourselves a lot easier, and each other a lot sooner and easier than God does. But anyway, I'm going to leave it right there. Wind chasers. There's hope. There's always hope. And sometimes, yes, some things have to die so that new things can come out of them. Seeds are that way. You don't hold on to a seed. You plant a seed, it dies, and then something new comes out of it. Which in reality, if you think about it, then it never really did die, did it? So I'd let God keep working your soil and letting you keep growing and keep growing. You gotta allow yourself. You put yourself in the hands of the great of Jesus, who's the great gardener and pruner, and will keep working the soil and helping us grow to be the people God wants us to be. So I'm going to leave it right there, wind chasers. Keep chasing the wind, because the wind is chasing too, until chasing you. First day with the new teeth. Sorry. Until next time, I'm Pastor Mark. Grace and peace.